Okay, on this question, they basically want us to graph both these lines and find the answer to the system. Okay, so how do we do it? We got to graph them one at a time. So you're gonna have to get y alone in both equations. So, whoops, I'm having a little trouble here, little technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, let's grab this one and bring it over here. So x minus 2y equals 4. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get y alone. You know, like y is over here saying, I want to be alone. Get rid of all this stuff so I can be alone. Okay, so our first step then is we're going to subtract x from both sides. And boom and a boom. And we get minus 2y is minus x plus 4. Like that. Next step, divide through by negative 2. Remember, whenever we divide, we have to divide all the way across, don't we? Excuse me, we have to divide all three. Equal treatment, all three. Okay, so let me move that up a little bit. What does that leave us with? Well, be a little bit careful here. Right here, we got 2 negatives. So it's going to be positive, isn't it? Positive x over 2. And then over here, we have positive over negative. That'll be negative. 4 divided by 2 is just 2, right? It's going to be negative. So we get there. So we got that one alone. Let me I'll put a circle on that one. So we got that one. We got y alone in that one. Now let's take the second one. Bring it right over here. And we're going to go minus 3x minus 2y equals minus 4. Okay. So same kind of thing, you know, y's saying, I want to be alone. Get rid of all this stuff. Okay. So we got to get y alone. So how do we get y alone? Add the 3x to both sides. Boom, boom. Minus 2y is 3x minus 4, like that. And then divide through by negative 2. Again, when you divide, you've got to divide all three, don't you? All the way across. Easy mistake to make is to only divide 2 of them. Okay, so now what happens? Careful again here with your signs. So this is positive over negative. So that's going to be negative. I'm just going to put the sign in the front. When you have a negative, only one negative on a fraction, it doesn't matter where it's top, bottom, or front. I actually like to put it in the top because it just is easier when it comes to my graphing for my slope. So that's my habit. I think it'll help you to do it that way too. So I'd encourage you, whenever you have one negative in a fraction, technically, it doesn't matter where that negative is, top, bottom, front, whatever, it's all the same thing. One negative on a fraction is just negative. But as far as what's easiest for us in graphing is to put the negative on the top. So I just move negatives when there's only one negative in a fraction. I like to just move them to the top. Makes it easier. Okay, and then the back here, we have 2 negatives, huh? So that's going to end up being positive, right? 2 negatives makes positive, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so there's our second equation with y alone. So now we've taken both equations and we've gotten y alone. So now we're in a position to graph them both. Let me graph the red one first off. And so to graph that one, let me see here. I'm going to, you're going to start here. Start at this, and this is going to be the vertical y-intercept, right? We have the y-axis and the x-axis. So at negative 2, so right there at negative 2. And then we do the slope. Now, what's the slope? Well, there's no number up top, which means there's a 1, really, right? And that's rise over run. Remember, what's next to x? The fraction next to x is the slope, rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1 plus 1 rise, and then the run. Whoops. It's going to be 1, 2, huh? Over 2 is the run. And so there's the second dot. There's the 2 dots. That's the red line. Connect it. Connect those two. Let's see that and okay. There we go. So there's the red line. And then when you graph these lines, this graphing system is very, very touchy, very sensitive. So you got to make sure you're right smack on the 2. See, mine even looks like it's a little below, but well, I guess it looks pretty good. But anyway, you make sure it's right on the crosshairs where the 2 lines crossing. Perfect. It's got to be perfect, perfect. And then this dot, make sure this is perfect, perfect, perfect. Right. Double check that it's right there, right on the crosshairs, right on the crosshairs. It's got to be perfect or it won't give you credit. And now the blue one, for the blue one, we're going to start at the number out there. We start there. That's the vertical. Y-intercepted up to right there. And then we have rise over run, don't we? So that'll go down 3, down 1, 2, 3. Rise -3. And then run 2. So 1, 2. So it's the same thing as that one's run 2. And it ends up right there, doesn't it? Look at that. It's easy to tell where they intersect. Okay, so now connect those 2. So this. Okay. There we go. There's the blue line. Again, make sure those are perfectly on. When you put this dot right here for the blue line, make sure it's right in the middle of the crosshairs. And when you put this dot for the blue line, make sure it's right in the middle of the crosshairs. If you're off at all, just a little bit off, it will not give you credit. It's a very, very, very sensitive graphing system. So, okay, so now the overall answer to the system is where the 2 intersect. And so that's easy to see. They intersect right here, don't they? What's that point of intersection? Over 2, down 1. See, it's over 2 and then down 1. And you got to put parentheses around those numbers with a comma in the middle. Over 2, down 1. That's where the 2 lines intersect. That's the point of intersection. And by the way, just for fun, it's not required at all. You can tell it's really right. If I come back up here and go 2 minus 1, x is 2, y is -1. You put a 2 in for x in both spots and a -1 in for y in both spots, it will make both equations true at the same time. You can see it. So I'll work this one out right here real quick. 2 minus 2 times -1, does that equal 4? Well, that's 2 plus 2, right? 2 negatives make positive. Does it equal 4? Yeah, 4 equals 4. That's true. How about right here? -3 times 2 minus 2 times -1, right? Does that equal -4? Well, that'd be -6 plus 2. 2 negatives make plus. Does that equal -4? -6 plus 2? Yeah, that's -4 equals -4. Check. See how check. See how it makes both equations true? When you that's why it works. The point of intersection where the 2 lines intersect, that's the one point that's on both lines. So that's got to be the one point whose x and y coordinates plugged in make both equations true because it's on both lines. Are you getting it? When dots are on a line, they make the dots, the xy values for those dots make that line's equation true. So all the dots on the blue line make the blue line's equation true. All the dots on the red line make the red line's equation true. Therefore, any dot that's an intersection point that's on both lines makes both equations true at the same time. And that's over 2 down 1. I plugged them both in. It made both equations true at the same time. That's what we're doing. All right, so just to recap real quick, that checking stuff was not required, of course. That was just for fun. I hope you thought it was fun. So what do? You got to get y alone in both equations. y alone in both equations. So I got y alone in the red equation, got y alone in the blue equation, and then we graph. We start with the number outside as our vertical y-intercept, and then do the rise over run for the slope. Graph them both. Be very, very careful as you're graphing. You got to get the dots right on the money, just perfectly right on the crosshairs, or it won't give you credit. In fact, let me share my screen real quick, and I could show you just how sensitive this stuff is. Let me go there real quick. I'm gonna have to. I don't even have that open. Let me get that open real quick. There it is. Go down here to it, and we are in 5.1 and number 3. All right, so now you're seeing it. Yeah, so here's one. It's a little different than what we're doing. So let me see if I solve this one here. I can just tell you what the equation is. I'll just write it real quick. This one's going to be, what's it going to be? It's going to be y, this top one here. It's going to be drawn with my mouse. It's going to be, let's see, 2y. It's going to be negative. So I'm just solving it in my head real quick just to save time. Negative half x, is that right? Add that over, divide by 2, yeah. And then divide by plus 2. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that one is going to be at up to. I'm going to have to go. Well, here, let me do the second one real quick. So the second one. Yeah, I thought I changed my color. I really thought I did. It didn't allow me to. All right, here we go. So the second one, it's going to be y equals, if you solve for y there, let me see, minus 4 is 2. It's going to be 2x, positive 2. Yeah, and then minus 2 would be minus 3. You divide there. Yeah, okay, so for the green line then, it's going to be started up 2 right here. And then it's going to go rise over run. So it's going to go, what's it going to do? It's going to go down 1 over 2, isn't it? It's going to go down 1, then over 1, 2. Sloppy. There we go. So there's the green line, those 2 dots. And then the blue line is going to start it down 3, right? And its slope is 2 over 1. So it's going to go up 2, 1, 2 over 1. Like there. So there's its 2 dots. Okay, so let me do it now with the dot maker thing. Here we go. Click on that. Okay, I'm going to go boom. Now see how touchy it is? See, it's all close. If I just get it, I'll just get it off a little bit. Just a little bit off. That's barely off, huh? It won't be right. You'll see in a minute. Click on the other one. You get right on the crosshairs, boom. And then right exactly here. Got to be right on, boom. Okay. Now it's mine's gonna watch. I'll submit it and it won't be happy. Oh, it is happy. Okay. I thought it was even a little more sensitive. It's close enough. Okay. And now, so you can submit, notice I submitted that first, but you have to get those right on the crosshairs. And now, what's the answer to the system? Where do they intersect? Over 2, up 1. You can see it now. Parentheses, like that. Over 2, up 1. And there it is. Yeah. So be right on the money. And now, if you want to adjust those, you see how when you go back, if you think, what do you think? Well, I made the dots and they're not right on. See, you can go back to the dots and you can move them afterwards. See this right here? See, I just went there and now I don't know where it goes. Like 3, this was the up 2 over 1, supposed to be right there. Like that. Yeah. Anyway, so you go back, you can hover over them and you can move them after the fact. After you've made the line, if it doesn't look perfect, hover back over it and you can move it that way. And that will work just like that. There we go.